it's Keith here at Scheiderer Farms, and I'm so excited to be here this morning, getting ready to plant my Ruby Falls Redbud from Bower and Branch. It's a beautiful little tree. It only gets about 8 foot tall. It has dark purple leaves starting in the spring and lasting through the summer. And now that it's late in the summer, they've kind of turned green, but it's a beautiful tree and it has pink flowers in the spring, just like a redbud. So to get started here, what I've done, I've got everything ready. I've got my tree here. I've got my compost here, the Organic Mechanics compost. I've got my Elements fertilizer, and I've got my watering kit here. And got everything lined up, and I've got my shovel back here. And I went ahead and dug my hole, and that's the first step in planting a tree, is digging your hole, and you want to make sure you have the right size hole dug. So what I did, I dug my hole about twice the size of the container, and I dug it a little bit shallower than the depth of the root ball. One of the biggest mistakes people make is planting their trees too deep. Our soils are poorly drained around here, so you want to make sure you keep the growing point of the tree right here up above the soil level. So I'm about 1 to 2 inches high, about 2 inches above the grade of the ground around here. And I think I'm ready to plant my tree. So we're gonna tip the tree over, work it around a little bit to loosen it up so I can pull it out. You want to gently pull it out. We're gonna place it in the hole. You want to make sure that the tree is facing the right way. Sometimes the tree might have a better side or look better from an angle, so we want to make sure it's facing how I want it. That looks pretty good. My depth is about right. So before I do anything, I'm gonna cut some of these roots. When a tree is in a container, you can't really see it very well, but the roots will grow in circles sometimes. So we're gonna cut those, and what that does is force the roots to grow out into my soil instead of around in a circle. It'll speed up the speed of the roots growing out. And before I planted, I watered this tree in the container to make sure the roots were hydrated. You don't want your roots to be dry, that'll kill the roots. All right, so we got that done. I'm going to take my Organic Mechanics compost, which is so important around here. Our soil is mostly clay and very little organic matter, and we need that in the soil. It helps hold moisture, it helps drainage, it helps with nutrients, and it helps loosen up our hard clay soil. We're dumping that on, we're going to mix it in. It doesn't have to be just perfect all the way through, but we want it to be mixed in pretty nice. And I'm using a 2 cubic foot bag for this size tree, which is about right. We'll end up using it all. So you want to make sure you don't have any real big clumps in there. And I'm going to start putting a little soil around the bottom before I straighten the tree, so I have something in there to help hold it up straight. So I got a little bit in there. And I'm using my foot to really pack that in there good. You really don't have to worry about compacting your soil because you want to get all the air pockets out. And when you have the compost in there, it's going to keep it loose. Just take a step back from a couple different directions and take a look at your tree. Make sure it's how you want it before you get it planted. And I'm going to take this Elements fertilizer, and it's an organic fertilizer. You can use on anything. You use vegetables, flowers, the trees. It has beneficial microorganisms in there that help work with the roots to root out faster and better. And I'm going to sprinkle some on my backfill. I'm going to sprinkle some around the hole in the tree. You don't have to worry about it burning the roots on your tree or anything. It's very safe, and it's very versatile as far as how to use it. So I'll mix that in just a little bit. Get all my organic mechanics worked in. We'll backfill a little more. And I'm going to pack the soil in. Really get it in there. We want to get out all the air pockets. Now, a lot of people, when they plant a tree, sometimes will want to replace the soil that they dug out with a bag topsoil or potting soil. And that's not what you want to do. You want to amend your native soil here, which is what we did. And you don't want to add sand or anything like that to your backfill. We'll pack it a little bit more. And one thing I didn't mention, you always want to select your tree based on where you're planting it, and don't try to force a big tree into a small place. Or if you want a big shade tree, you wouldn't want to pick out a tree like this. And the Bower & Branch website is great. If you're not sure what tree will work in your location, you can find the perfect tree for what you're looking for. And it's important to follow the planting guidelines in the planting instruction book, because there's a 3-year warranty on all Bower & Branch trees, whether you buy them directly from us or if you order them online. And a 3-year warranty is good when you use the Elements fertilizer, the organic mechanics compost, and follow the instructions and the watering kit. So we've almost got it filled. Notice I didn't put soil on top of the root ball. That is how deep the top is supposed to be, so we don't want to bury that. And I'm just kind of bringing it up to it. And it's looking good. This tree's gonna look awesome here. You can hardly wait for next year to see it leaf out. One thing you want to remember when you're planting a tree, it's not like planting annuals or pots, which give you that awesome wow right away. Trees are an investment, and they're going to last many, many years. And you want to make sure you do it right at planting to get the most throughout the years. So we about got it planted here. Everything looks good on it. Got it at the right depth. I'm making a little bit of a ring with the soil outside of the root ball towards the outer edge of where we dug our hole, just to kind of help hold a little bit of the water in when I water it in. And not too much, but just a little bit, just to kind of help hold it. So there, we got it planted. And then the next thing we need to do, and this is extremely important, is water it in very good. You don't want to not just with a little bit of water, but you want to really soak that root ball in the planting area. We want to get out all the air pockets. We don't want any roots to dry out. So we're going to water the entire planting hole and root ball here. And we're really going to soak it. The ground is dry. It's early fall and it's hot out. And we want to make sure this tree gets off to a good start. And these container trees, really you can plant any time of the year pretty well, from spring, summer, and fall. They're a lot easier to plant than the old balled and burlap type of trees that were dug and put in a wire cage and then burlap wrapped around them. These trees just do really well, and when given the proper care, they really take off fast. So I think I'm just about got it here. You really can't overdo it with watering in. I want that water to get all the way down to the bottom of the hole and work out any air pockets. I think I got it pretty good. So the next step is the watering system. And it consists of this is like a plastic bag, emitters, and a stake. I'm going to put this around the tree, and we take the stake and weave it through the holes in the watering bag. Push it up. I want to make sure I have it so that the bag's not going to be touching the tree. I want it, pretty well, the tree in the center of it. Pound in a little bit to hold it in place, and then I'm going to fill it with water. There's a hole over here to do that. We'll just put the hose down in there. Get it in there first. And as I fill it, I'm just going to make sure it's in the right spot. You want to be a little bit careful with it. Make sure there's no sticks or anything around to poke holes in the watering bag. It's not quite full. It holds a lot of water, a lot more than what you can imagine. The next thing is to put the emitters in. And you can take a nail and make a starter hole and then put the emitters in those. And you want to make sure that they're on the bottom of the bag, on the ground. And that will be a controlled released amount of water, and it'll water the tree at just the right rate. Not too slow and not too fast. And the main thing you do want to do is keep that area where the roots are moist. And the bag, you want to check about every 10 days and refill it about every 10 to 14 days. You don't want to let it run out for too long, and it'll water the tree just right. And the Elements fertilizer, we'll do that again in the spring. You want to do that in the spring and the fall for about 3 years after planting, and you only need to use about a half a bag then. So there's our Ruby Falls Red Bud from Bower and Branch, and I can't wait to see it in the spring. It's going to be gorgeous. We'll see you in the greenhouse.